here's Brody Brazil.
If you've got a question, a comment, or a contribution for this channel, please call it in right now at 833-4BRODY. You leave a great voicemail, then I get to play it in a future video.
Hey, Brody, it's CJ from Sonoma County, California. Congratulations on your 10-year wedding anniversary.
Thank you.
Huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Very happy for you both. But with that in mind, if you could take a time machine and go back and talk to newlywed Brody a decade ago, what would you tell him as a lesson that you've learned over these last 10 years? And what would be the biggest sports news shock do you think that you could share with him?
Wow.
And do you think 10 years later, he's proud of where you've come, all the accomplishments that you've made? And did you ever think you'd get here? Sorry to be all sappy and whimsical, but, you know, it's good to do that occasionally. Thanks. Have a great day.
CJ, I agree. Thank you for the congratulations on the anniversary. I didn't talk about it here much on YouTube, but I did make the Instagram post. I assume that's where you saw it. And it's crazy that you're calling in from Sonoma County because that's where my wife Amanda and I got married, in Sonoma County back in 2015. We also visited 2 weeks ago just to celebrate the anniversary in advance of birthdays and school starting and all that stuff. So we love Sonoma. Obviously, it has special ties to us. We also like wine, but we also have sentimental reasons to be connected to Sonoma. And that's why it's really cool that you are calling from all places from Sonoma County. So you gave me a lot to talk about, a lot to chew on here. And yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a different video, a lot of personal levels probably approached here. But the last decade, and 2015 to 2025, there's been a lot going on in everybody's life. I'll take it from my own perspective. You asked me about lessons I've learned and maybe what would I go back and tell myself? What would I want to warn myself about? What advice would I have for myself now that I could give 2015 Brazil? I would remind myself back then that life goes fast. Now in 2015, obviously just got married, was not a father yet. We had just got our dog Melvin, who is no longer with us. But life goes fast, right? And I think I knew that. I don't think I needed to be reminded of that, but it's definitely something that old man Brazil at 44 would tell, 34-year-old Brody, hey, just a reminder, like really soak in, especially these next 10 years, because you're going to become a dad. Things are going to change. Some things that you have now, you're not going to have. So I think that's a constant. Like I could probably say that about the next 10 years as well, too. But the point is to soak it in because life does go fast. Our son now just turned 8. Like 10 years ago, I was not a father. Now I have an 8-year-old. That's the point. Life goes really fast. I would also tell myself, maybe from a professional aspect, to make sure that I'm enjoying the ride. And I'll bring up 2016, for example, because when I got married, I had yet to cover the San Jose Sharks playing in a Stanley Cup final. But that did happen the next year in 2016. And of all those years of success of the 2010s, playoffs almost every year and winning records and star players and future Hall of Famers, and I had known the Sharks as a team that, had struggled and was trying to ascend over the years, but they were great for a decade straight, basically. All the 2010s. A little bit before that, too. I don't know that I took it ever for granted, but I really want to remind my younger self, enjoy that. And I did. I really did. I definitely didn't go gloss right over it, but I can't wait to get back to that now. And not having that for a handful of years, it really reminds me how special those times were. When you knew covering a team was great, you knew that something you loved would love you back and would find a way to reward you in terms of results and, getting to new places and all that stuff. So enjoy the ride is something I would tell myself and just remind myself. I would also remind myself, and, I guess I probably didn't need to, but stay grinding. Stay grinding on your work. Try and stay one step ahead of where everybody else is at. I think I could have got very content, as a broadcaster and loving to do a highlight show and trying to just be a television person and not really worrying about social media. Who needs that? That's for the kids. It's not that popular. I mean, does everybody need a YouTube channel? Should everybody be on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever else? No, I don't need that. I work in television. Well, guess what? Television is a crazy industry that has totally changed within the last 10 years especially. And if I didn't stay grinding, I mean, I don't know if I'd be talking to you here now on this channel. If I wasn't ambitious, if I wasn't like future facing, if I wasn't looking towards the future, I think I would have missed out. I didn't want to get passed by. And I went from, broadcaster to content creator, also broadcaster who makes content. But the point is, I've always tried to see several steps ahead. And there were times, like 10 years ago, where you can just get comfortable in what you're doing and thinking it's going to last forever, thinking things are never going to change, but they are. And they will change again in the next 10 years. So you always have to be looking ahead, not in reverse, and stay grinding. Okay, CJ, going back to the sports news shock. I don't know if you asked this on purpose or if you knew what I would say, but it's obviously the A's departure and the trauma that comes with it personally and professionally. And I'm here to say that when I covered especially the earlier years of Howard Terminal in 17 and 18 and 2019 and 20 into 21, I always had the gut instinct that it would work out in Oakland. I really, truly did not believe. I knew it was a possibility. I didn't think it was the likeliest thing, though, that the A's would actually leave and would go to Las Vegas, and it would happen without any resistance from Major League Baseball. It was almost like, are you serious? Like, this is taking another step, and nobody stopped it. Then it's taking another step, and nobody stopped it or stepped in. Nobody was the hero in any of this at any point. Again, I knew this was a possibility. I just didn't believe it was the likeliest of outcomes. I also look back and would understand that I did my best in one regard, to just document what was going on. And I still document how this is playing out in a most unconventional way a lot of times. The point is, I never have control over a situation. I'm never going to change or dictate what happens based on my coverage of it. That's ridiculous. I don't think of myself like that. I'm here, though, to make these videos that stand the test of time. And if you're watching something in 2035 or 2039, I hope that what I'm saying here in the mid-2020s, early to mid-20s, I hope that it plays well. I hope that it holds up. I hope that I was right on a lot of things in trying to look ahead and show you how things might go. You're never 100%. But I did my best to document a time and a place so that in the future, when people wonder what happened, why did this happen, how did this happen, I've probably talked about it here on a YouTube video. And you know what? In older forms of media, once the nightly news comes on and then it signs off for the night, unless you recorded it, it doesn't exist. But here on the internet, it's going to last forever. So we are going to see all this coverage. It's like instantly part of the history books. As soon as you make it, and as the years go on, it's documenting a time and place, and everybody has access to it. So obviously, the biggest thing I would have maybe prepared myself for was this is going to happen. Would I have covered it any differently? Not necessarily. Maybe would I have attempted to even be a little bit stronger and more deliberate with my words and actions and messages? Maybe, but I think all that's hindsight and it's all 2020 at that point. I probably wouldn't have handled it a lot differently than I did. Am I proud of the journey? Would I back then be proud of where I am, where everybody is here in 2025? Yeah. I would say, really though, proud of the longevity and the effort. And those two things combined. Proud of the fact that here I am 10 years later, not in the same role, not doing the same thing, not working for a network anymore, but in the same genre, kind of doing the things I'm interested in. I'm passionate about my work still. I'm passionate that the effort is still there. A lot of people get burnt out. Yeah, they have the job, but they don't want to work hard at it anymore. They don't want to try. They don't want to try and innovate. They're not always constantly thinking. The creative tick in them is gone. I'm proud of the fact that, yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a lot longer than 10 years. I've been doing this stuff for like 25 years, but I'm proud of the longevity more than accomplishments. And I'm proud of the effort with the longevity as part of it. I look at myself and I would say, you're not going to think this is, if I was talking to 2015 me, this doesn't go perfectly for you. Like all the optimal things that maybe, somebody would dream of and say, well, this is how you'd really love for it to go. Nothing's ever perfect. I didn't make all the right decisions. I didn't do all the right things. I wasn't always the best, whatever. Nobody's ever going to be perfect, obviously. But staying on track, staying the course, persistence, longevity, effort, I think they all go in the same conversation. So there's a lot to unpack there. This is a very personal video. I don't know if people actually even care about this, but it was a question I felt obligated to share. And CJ, thank you very much for teeing me up. Let me know what any of you think about any of this in the comments section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We'll get back to more sports topics next time. See you then.